Hello, welcome to the Birdsong Knits podcast. This is a knitting and crochet podcast. My name is Elaine, and thank you for being here. Welcome. It's been about 1 week since I've podcasted, so I don't have a ton of new things, but I do have some things to share with you, and thought the more often we chat, then the shorter these will be, which can be a good thing. So the first thing that I'll chat about is a project that I had last week. It is a sweater for my nephew. And I did make some progress on it, although I got a little bit distracted this week by something new and shiny. So this is the sweater. Last week I had not split for the sleeves. I'm going to give you the name of it and all the details in just one second. I'm just going to show it to you first. I do realize my camera here is not fantastic. I'm using my computer camera, which is leaving something to be desired. And I'm working on fixing that. I had a different option for today, and for some reason it would stop recording every 30 seconds. So that just wasn't going to work. So we're back to my computer for today. But don't you love that stitch? So it's a mix of ribbing and garter stitch. Its buttons are on this side. So this is the front. So they're on the right side. And I think it's super cute. I'll give you the name of it and then I'll tell you what's wrong with it. So the name of it, I'm just pulling it up on my phone. Sorghum-free fold-over jacket. I'll have it linked in the description below. And the yarn I'm using is Barocco Renew in the tortoise colorway. I really, really, really love this yarn, and it's discontinued, and I'm thinking about hunting down someone else's leftovers on Etsy or Ravelry or something, because now I want more of this yarn, because I would love to make more garments of this so fabulous garment yarn. It's a mix of, let me grab the tag, 35% viscose, 30% wool, 30% nylon, 5% cashmere. Here's the label. Really, really like it. I just started my third ball. So the good news is it's beautiful and I love it, and it's going to make a beautiful sweater. The bad news is that it's working up to be 2 sizes too big for my nephew. I was trying to make the size 2 year, and it's turning out to be more like the 4 year. I mean, yeah, I was with him and his older brothers this weekend for the holidays, and it's way too big for him. It will fit either the middle boy who's 4 or the older boy who's tiny for his age. He'll turn 6 this summer, so it probably would be tight on him, but I don't know, it might fit him. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to give it to, so I did not give it to him for his birthday. I was going to give it to him this weekend. I would have been working harder on it if it was that right size, but it was not. Once I split for the sleeves, I could tell for sure. And even just look at these sleeve holes. That is not a 2-year-old's sleeve hole size. So that's okay. Having fun making it. I'm going to keep knitting on it, and I am going to look for some more of that Barocco Renew. I really love Barocco yarn. I like the vintage DK yarn too. So let me tell you about the socks that I have been working on, and then I'll tell you about what distracted me. So I showed these last week. They were just a cuff last week. Did I show that I finished? Okay, so last week I talked about a pair of socks. Let me pull up a picture on here. I finished them and gave them to the recipient. So I do not have them with me anymore, but they are finished and got passed along. Oh my, I don't think I took a picture of them. What a mess. I didn't. I'll have to message her and ask for a picture, and then I can link it in the description. So, whoops, those I was working on last week, and I gave them to her and she loves them. So I This is not the first sock this year that I've forgotten to take pictures of. I finish it and I get so excited to give it to the person I'm planning to give it to that I just forget about pictures. And it's a bummer because then there's a blank spot in my Ravelry page. I just don't like it. Okay, so these were cuffed last week. So I finished it was a blueberry waffle sock. I finished those, gave them to my friend, and then I picked these up. And they go so quickly because they are just vanilla socks. I find that so speedy and easy. These are for my friend who is unwell right now. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just looking to give them to her as a little comfort item. What I've been doing lately with my self-striping socks, when I don't want to do a contrast, I like the cohesive look of not having a contrast cuff and heel. Sometimes I like the contrast, sometimes I don't. And while I was making this, I had a gray picked out to put here, but I just didn't want to do it ultimately. So when I got to this part of the sock, I pulled from the inside of the ball. I just pulled from in here. I was working from the outside. I pulled some from the inside, did the heel flap and gusset, and everything else is knit straight through. So really like that method because even though the patterning is different, you can see here it's not matching the pattern. The pattern on the heel does not match the front of the sock, but it doesn't, even though I'm not using a contrasting color, I still don't interrupt patterning on the front of the sock. And to me, it just looks more cohesive. And I'm enjoying that look right now. So I'll change my mind later, but that's okay. Like on a different sock. I didn't weave in the ends because I really quickly wanted to start the second sock because I knew I was going to the movies yesterday. I took my son and his friend to see the Mario movie, and I really wanted some sock knitting for in the theater. Well, I just wanted stockinette for the theater, really is what I wanted. I didn't do that much because I ate too much popcorn. Instead of knitting, I was eating. But so I made sure I had the cuff done that morning. I started it the night before, and then even during my workout, when I was having breaths between my lifting exercises, I was like, okay, knit one row, just to try and finish these 20 rounds on the cuff. I got it done, and I was able to knit from here to there in the movie, which is great, but not amazing. I could definitely do more than that. And it looks good. Oh, it looks good. Just making sure I realized I hadn't looked at the since I knit. Every once in a while, I'll drop a stitch in the movie theater, but I usually feel it and notice. So I did bring with me a little teeny tiny light. Let me put these away. I'll tell you what the yarn is too. So vanilla socks. I always do it on 0. Oh, darn. Okay, let me finish that thought. I always do it on size 0 needles. I like the Chalgu lace needles. They're my favorites. Probably 32 inch. Maybe that's 40. I'm not sure. No, I think that's 32. So I bring this little blue light that I could just, in the movie theater, it would shine on my stitch. I could see that stitch to make a quick fix and then hopefully not distract anyone. West Yorkshire spinners. I know, I wrote it down. I'm like, my label's not in my bag. Why? I don't know. But I have it in memory. So thank my past self for remembering to do that. West Yorkshire Spinners Wood Pigeon colorway. Of course, I'll have it linked in the description box below too, but I think they're beautiful. Nice, muted, pretty color. I think my friend will like a lot. So I'll definitely have those done this week. Yeah, there's no reason that won't happen that I can think of. And then I will tell you about my project that distracted me. I don't know totally how this happened. I will blame YouTube podcasters. I think that's how it happened. I think it was probably Nitty Natty who put me over the edge. She did a review. I'm not sure even how recent this video was. I think sometime in this year. But it was a Nitty Natty video on the 9 blankets she's made, I think. And one of them was her hexagon blanket. I've seen this blanket before, but somehow in this review, I was like, I really want to make. So I kind of went down a hexagon blanket pattern hole on Ravelry and wasn't finding a ton that I loved, but I settled on a free pattern, and it's called a Hig. Is that how you say it? Hug, Hygge. It means comfort in maybe Swedish. Don't quote me on that. The Hig Burst Hexi blanket. It'll be linked below, but it is a free pattern if you go to her blog. So if you go to the Ravelry pattern at the bottom of the description, she links to her free version on the blog. I'll show you her version, which will look quite different from mine, I think, just because of the way we're handling the colors. Where is a good picture of hers? She changes her colors every round. So there's 4 rounds in this motif in the hexagon. Is it like it's changing for me. That's cool. It's on a slideshow. I did not know I did that. And look at the baubles on the edging. I think they're really cute. I love the baubles. I don't know if I'll do them ultimately, but I like them. So I've been making hexagons. Let me take a sip. So I'll show you my before blocking and after blocking. I've made 8 hexagons so far. I'm using my stash. I'm using fingering weight held double stash. I did pull out colors, put them in a bucket. I was aiming for spring colors. I see I've kind of got a stash here. And I'm doing okay with I'm not good at colors. I'm not good at matching up colors. This will be scrappy, but I don't want it to be, I want to have some kind of color theme to it. Some of these may stay in the blanket and some of them may not, which is okay with me. If yeah, it's okay. I can use them for something else. So here's before blocking. This is some yellow scraps. I do not have the name of it. I'm trying to use up all of my scraps if I can. If it's a really big leftover, maybe I just made shorty socks or something, then I'm saving the leftovers for my cozy comfort throw. But otherwise, I'm trying to use these up, and I'm getting like a couple, typically like 2 hexagons per scrap. So you can see it's curling a bit. So I tried blocking some, and I have not taken them off the blocking mat yet, so we can look at it together. These are all the ones I made yesterday. It takes about 15 minutes to make one of these hexagons. So I can make a bunch of them. That color is not pretty. This is Alice in Wonderland. Is it Wonderland Yarns? I think one of her sock yarns. I guess I was holding that at a weird angle. I wanted you to be able to see it close. Then I wasn't showing you the whole hexagon. Now this one is a Patton's Croix, and I'm not sure it will stay in. So first of all, it's self-striping, and I think I have to rule out any self-striping because it does weird patterning, which is lovely in a sock and weird in hexagon. Also, Patton's Croix just seems to be a slightly thicker yarn, and it's a bit big. So I'm going to leave it in the pile because I already made it, but maybe after I block, it'll be a nice coaster or something. I'm just leaving it in the mix for now. So maybe I don't have 8. Maybe I have 7. Wait a minute. I had 8. I made 5 more, so I have 13 so far. So here's how I blocked them. These are double thick, so there's 2 hexagons. I just put them on one mat. I don't know why I have 2 mats here, but I just fit them into a single mat and stood them up like this in front of my fan and let my fan blow on them. So let's see how they turned out. I've got my little pin case here. Just want to see if they turned out flat or not. I'm going to move this really quickly. Excuse me for the rearranging. This yarn I'm going to show you first was from the sock that I don't have anymore. So there's 2 of these. So these lay very nicely. Those are laying nice. Easy for, yeah, that's great. Much better than they were. I don't know what this is. There's one like loosey goosey stitch. That's so odd. I don't know what that's from. Maybe it got caught on something when I was. It's happened on the back too. I'll have to give that a little bit of love. But there's that. So this is the yarn I used for those socks for my friend. It looks like they're turning out great once they're blocked. So I have 12 or 13, depending on if we count that patent Croy hexagon. To make the size that she made in the pattern, I think I need over 100. I'm not sure that I will. Okay. This is not muted. Does it count as springy? Probably not. Do these belong in the same blanket? Maybe. That goes better, in my opinion. You know what? I'm just going to keep all these and keep going, do my best. And I have a great resource, my mother. She's very good with colors, and she will know what to do. I will lay all my hexagons out, and we will figure out where they go together. The fun thing about this, I was weaving in the ends on a hexagon this morning, and my son saw that I was making hexagons for the first time, even though I've been making them around him for the couple days. Sorry, got a frog in my throat. Anyway, he walked in and he was like, wow, that's really cool. This is my 8-year-old son. And I was like, really? Do you like it? And he said, yes. And I was like, well, I honestly had no idea who I was making this for, but maybe it's for you. Would you like it? Yes. And I was like, okay. And then we just have to pick a color to join these. I was thinking, I mean, I want some kind of neutral. Gray, white, like, kind of creamy, white, like a berry yarn. Or an actual beige, or black. And Michael started listing off, before I said those out loud, he mentioned black. And I do think it would look cool. I'm kind of torn on whether it's the right thing for this spring colored blanket. Do those look okay together? These do stand out, don't they? But maybe it's okay to have little pops of color. I welcome your opinion, because I'm really clueless with colors. Yeah, it's just not my thing. So my other thought is my son loves orange, purples, blues, and I could do some bold colors like that. A bold orange. I just pulled these out a few minutes ago. I hadn't noticed them in my stash, but have this. I love that. And how cool would that look with black? So am I making 2 blankets or one? I don't know. How many of these hexagons am I going to make? Because it could really add up to a lot if I'm going to make 2 blankets. But since they take 15 minutes each, maybe it's useful. If the question will be, can I get myself to put the rest of the blanket together twice? I think that's more the question. So we'll see. So that somehow distracted me this week. I went off on a hexagon. I went to Hexagon Land, and they're really addictive. They're potato chippy because they're so quick. Because they're 15 minutes, I can do it in a sitting. I can do 2 in a sitting, and still feel like I haven't spent a ton of time on it. And I'm really enjoying crochet right now. It just feels good. Knitting is occasionally hurting my wrists. So yeah, it's a distraction. But I give my knitting permission and my crafting permission to distract me. Okay, last thing. In my Easter basket, my mother-in-law sold us Easter baskets for the adults, which is very sweet. We just need to give her some more grandchildren. At some point, she'll be like, okay, it's too many. But she asked me what I wanted in my Easter basket, and I gave her a few healthy snack ideas. But then I thought I saw someone in the YouTube world. Who was it? I don't know. I want to blame it on the crazy sock lady, but I don't think it was her. Anyway, someone talked about these Addy unicorn rockets. Unicorn, like the sheep, EWE, unicorn. So I haven't tried them yet. These are Zeros, 32 inch, my sock size, my sock making size. Oh, I do have one more thing to talk about after this. I forgot. I love the feel of this cord. It's fabulous. It is tangling or like wrinkling a little, so we'll see how that goes when that's not bad. So the cool thing about these needles is the spiraling. I don't know why this has been made. Is this beneficial in some way? I truly don't know. It doesn't feel like it would catch. Will it drag? I don't know. So I will give an update on these next week. The package says it has a sharp tapered rocket tip, a whimsical spiraling unicorn texture, and pliable pink nylon cable with SOS eyelets and smooth joins. So I will review all of that next week. The next pair of socks that I cast on, I'll use these. So the next pair of socks I'm planning to cast on are for a girl, a young lady who I have taught to crochet and who also is in my son's class at one of his schools. I'm going to put these away so that I lose track of them. And anyway, she came over one day and I offered her a pair of socks that I had already made for her, and they were a little bit tight. So I gave them to her younger sister and I said, pick some yarn. I gave her lots of options. And she put these two together, which I think is really cool. Actually, I think she wanted something else with this, but it was a sharp contrast. And I was like, what do you think of this one? And I think it looks really cool. This is some yarn I got forever ago in a kit for something else. I don't know. I can't even tell you what it is. And these are leftovers that I also can't tell you what it is, although I'm leaning towards a yarnable yarn, if I had to guess. I'm pretty sure that this does not have nylon, which means I do not want to put it in the heels or toes of her socks. Cuffs would be fine. So I'm thinking about just doing the cuffs in this and a little bit of like maybe 2 stripes just below the cuff, like this for the cuff, then maybe 2 or 3 rows of this, 2 or 3 rows of this, 2 or 3 rows of this, 2 or 3 rows of this. So I'm getting 2 stripes of this, and then the rest of the sock in this. I think I'll have enough. Maybe I should weigh it. I think I'll have enough. If I could do the heels and toes, I could definitely have enough. But I don't want to give her socks that are definitely going to wear out, because some people wear their socks so much harder than others, and I don't know which she is, and I don't want it to be something that wears out on her super quickly. So I'll just do my best, and hopefully it will be enough. All right, last thing that I'm going to talk about today is another future project I will probably be casting on tomorrow, and that will be either a shawl or baby blanket. At my church, they have a prayer shawl ministry that I have been eyeing for a while. So we've been at this church for about 18 months, and I would say for the first year, I was paying attention to that prayer shawl ministry and thinking I would like to fit that in. And at the time, they meet at a certain time each week, and it would not work with my schedule. And then I told you in the last episode, I had a crazy fall. Life was, I didn't really know what was going on. So I stopped thinking about it, even though the time became available during that season. And kind of that mindset just continued through the winter. And then just recently, as I'm waking up to spring and my crafting, I realized I can make that time work now for 4 weeks. So we'll see what happens this summer. But as Michael as my son is finishing school, I'll be able to do that. So anyway, they make shawls and baby blankets. So I have 3 balls of this in my stash. It's Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK from Hobby Lobby. And I had no current plan for this yarn, and I've been trying to decide what to do with it. So I think I will use it. It's going to be great, machine washable and all that for a donation. The question is, will I make a shawl or a baby blanket? And I am yet undecided. She gave me dimensions for shawls and then said also we accept baby blankets. I'm going to be there tomorrow. So I'm going to bring my yarn. I'm going to bring my hooks. I might have a few patterns queued up, but I can just use my phone while I'm there to pick. But I think what I want to do is go and ask them, who do you give the shawls to and who do you give the baby blankets to? Because it will help me, especially with the shawls, because I think it's a long rectangular shawl, like a wide scarf. You can wrap over your shoulders, and I've been wanting to make those for so long. I do Meals on Wheels delivery for the elderly, and I have, spent some time visiting the elderly at nursing homes, and I just think those shawls, especially with pockets at each side at the bottom, would be so useful. And I've been wanting to make them to donate, to give away for quite some time, and I have not yet pulled that off. So this might be the opportunity to do that, but I just want to confirm that that's kind of the idea. Maybe they're not always giving it to the elderly, right? It could be anyone in need. I guess I just want to get the opinions of other people, what they usually make and stuff like that. So this is coming in the future, and I'm not sure, will I just work on that when I'm at the meeting? That probably won't progress it very far. It's a 1-hour meeting, but I have a lot of other things that I'm making, so I'm not sure. But I'm going to go and I'm going to start one, and I'm hoping I'll finish one. Like if I do one a month, I think that would be okay. That would be my minimum goal. Okay, so that's it. I've been working on a blanket, a sock, a sweater, and I'm about to start a shawl, I guess. So thank you for spending some time with me and being here. I really enjoy podcasting and spending this time with you. I would love to hear what you are planning to make in the next couple of weeks, what you're working on. And if you have any suggestions for me on the hexagon blanket, I would welcome your suggestions. So, all right. Bye.